Hello again. Okay, today I'm going to show you a little better this lifting technique. I have been doing it just to show you here how it looks like. I will show you. This I didn't have to do this lifting technique here because I'm going to use Paynes grey for the trees. They are very dark, so I could have painted them just right on top, but I wanted to show you. Plus, as it is another color here, much lighter, if I have painted the Paynes grey without this lifting technique before, I would have gotten different different color on the top and bottom. Okay, I'm going to show you. You take a thin brush, a flat one is best for this, I think. Okay, I just wet it, scrub a little bit with the brush, and then just push with a paper. Okay, I'm gonna make more. It depends a little which color, which pigment you use. Some pigments are more difficult to lift than others. Some are very, very easy to lift. You see? Okay, I'm going to use Paynes grey. Let's see how thick it is. I want more. I usually put too much water in. You see? Here it doesn't show much difference. Now the pigment is running down because I'm tilting the board, the paper this time. Okay. I showed you the lifting technique. Now I am going to take another brush. Get this small one. Make some Perylene green. Have to test before. I want it really dark. So take it, mix it with some Paynes grey as well. Okay. Dry brush technique, you remember from the other videos? You take some pigment, blot the stomach of the brush. So because here in this area most of the water is so if I blot it, it's just enough color. Okay. See, I didn't make any more of the branches, because you start with this. I just wanted to check the difference of the pigments on the tree. Therefore, I painted this before. But now I'm going to paint the leaves, the foliage. Foliage. See? It's nice, isn't it? Okay. It's very mixed with Paynes grey, so it doesn't show much of the green. Go on. I'm trying to make it a little short video this time. Okay. I'm going to have some leaves and stuff on this painting too, you see here. I'm going to have more trees far away, so I make them just a little bit with this, couple of them. I think it's going to be nice with some reflections on the water from these trees. Reflections always go down against the person who paints. Paper's dry now also. Okay. 3 trees, maybe one day. Very loosely painted with dry brush strokes. Okay, I go on with this. I can take this. Okay, paint some more of the background leaves. After some time this dries, then I go over again to make some darker, then those leaves are more close to me. If there are more colors on the leaves. Actually, I'm not used to paint these darker scenes. I always used to paint the light ones. And lately I've been painting a lot of winter scenes. With pine trees. When you make the foliage, remember to leave some gaps between. Here I leave a gap because I want this tree to be seen as a reflection. And this tree also I can make seen in this. So I don't paint everything so it doesn't show. Reflections are always nice to make when there is water. It shows a bit more that there's supposed to be water. Mix a little bit more. I'm working with Perylene green and Paynes gray. Okay, when I try it out, I see that it's very dark, but slightly little green. Just a little bit. You see some lighter and some darker. Mhm. I only paint more pigments on the closest trees. These distant ones I want to be more pale. Some darker. It looks best if you have light value, middle value and dark value. 3 values. And you get more depth in the painting. So leave some lights, middle and real dark. See, I paint some foliage on the tree here as well. These are the middle trees, middle distance. They need a little bit of the dark color as well, but not the distant ones. If you watched the first and second video, I continued with the last colors I wrote in the video. But today when I came back, I put some sap green on top, just a little here and there, just to show a little bit of the green from the grass, just a little bit, because there's still some light left. So a little green. Maybe I put some more, just a little bit more of sap green. Perylene green didn't show much because this color is so dark. So sap green was much better. Okay. I will use I have 2 rigger brushes, size 0 and 2 from Winsor Newton. These are very good to paint thin branches with. They are very, very long, so they hold a lot of water for a long time. Okay, now we take some Paynes grey. Once more. See, I paint in between. I paint all these thick ones. And if it is too light, you just go back when it is dry and paint over one more time. I used to be careful and just because I don't want to risk it to be too much of pigment, so I used to go back instead of putting very, very much pigment. You do what feels best for you. I think I will do that a little thicker. I paint with Paynes grey because it's not much light and most of the trees and grass looks almost black against the sunset. It doesn't matter if the pigment float out in the foliage. I don't know how you pronounce that. I will get better with my English after some time. It's like that when you don't practice talking for a long time. But after some practice you get better and better. The same with painting. You have to, watercolor you need to practice a lot. It's best to paint a little every day. If you don't have much time, just paint just a little one. Just something small. Because when you paint a lot, the knowledge is, after some time, the knowledge is sitting in your back, if you know what I mean. You don't have to think about everything, every paint brush stroke you make. You see? Branches disappears and then they show again. That's why you paint the branches, the leaves first, before the branches. Mm-hmm. When you paint trees, now I want it dark, so I don't want a lot of other colors on the branches. But when you paint trees and it's lighter, you can drop in different colors in the wet pigment. Just let it flow. It looks very nice. Often trees have a lot of different colors in them, so use a lot of colors, a lot of pigments. When I paint birch trees, for example, I most of the time I paint a lot of contrast, and I like to make all the colors more than in nature. I want to get the feeling of the nature. See, you can see a little bit there. I'll take the other brush, number 2 rigger, I use that instead. A little more Paynes gray. All the small branches I don't want to make too light because I don't want to fill them in, all of them. Just some, if I have to. You see after a while when it's dry, if you have to. You see, it doesn't matter if it floats out a bit. It just gets a more free feeling of the painting. A little bit of flow in it. See, I drop in a little bit of darker as it goes. If you take the brush and do it from the tree and out, at the end edge of the brush stroke, you get a thinner line. So do it from the tree and out if you want to make quick brush strokes more freely. Sometimes I am a painter that, I don't know, I go too much into details sometimes. I'm a slow painter. If I would have been a fast painter, I guess I wouldn't look so much into the details. A little bit more. I could have painted with a bigger brush, but I use this. It's in my hand. You see here, don't end the tree just straight. It doesn't look natural. You know, here is some foliage hiding the dark. If something is missing, your brain is going to fill in. Because our brain wants reality, so it makes its own reality, even if it isn't there on paper. Vary the strokes so it looks interesting. And everything that is closer, you paint darker with more colors. Darker here because I only use dark pigments here. So if there is a distance, some trees are more far away, you can make them more pale. And you help the viewer to see what's close and what's far away. Does any one of you have a tip for me for video editing? I am just newly started, as you know, and I would like to have a program for editing, so I can put together short videos I make, and I can make it one long instead of several short ones. It would be easier. So if you have any suggestions with editing programs, just write in the comment. I'll be very happy for that. get ideas. You see, I am into details. Some branches without any leaves. That's natural. You see, I twist the branches a bit. I think I will make those there behind. I'll dry this up and make a little paler color. And my dropping instrument, what it is called, I don't know. I guess you know. Pipette. It's called pipette here in Sweden. A little darker, I think. This is maybe I go over again and paint it once more. When it has dried, I see how dark it is. A little bit darker. Maybe I can use a darker color, because here I have painted 2 layers. If I just paint 1 layer here, maybe it's gonna be okay. Just little stripes here and there. Here I don't look for any leaves or anything. I just put some stripes, small branches in between somewhere. No one will see that small tree from far behind, and that the branches are painted on the right place. It's too far, too small. Maybe you will see me destroy painting someday. Everyone that paints watercolor knows how difficult it is, and you never ever succeed with every painting. It's not possible. Even the artists, the professional artists that have this as a work, full-time work, they have to throw away paintings. So that I do that too. And if you paint watercolor painting, don't be unhappy about making mistakes, because you learn more from your mistakes than from the successful paintings. The mistakes, you learn a lot more. And if you never make a mistake, that means that you're afraid to try new things, new techniques. Then you can't learn. When I have painted something many times, you see, why should I bother about that little spot? Details. What did I say? When I have made a lot of paintings, and I know it, I know how to do everything to make it look right, look good. then I get a little bit fed up. I want to evolve. I want to evolve, learn new things all the time. So then I look for new techniques and new motifs to paint. Then it gets fun again. Okay. I start with the weak color, I think. I'm going to make the reflections. I take the dark ones. I can lift the color, blot it with paper if I want to. Okay. Just go down and just make a few branches in the water. A little drop. Okay. Take the paper if it's too much at some place. Okay. You can it's not an exact knowledge, this. You just drop it down. Okay. I think I will blot it a little. I wanted to show, but not far too much. And this you can make some, like one artist, Joe Dowden, he is amazing with water and light and so on. He said, one straight line, one kick. One straight line, one kick. So it's not too perfect. But that is not, he works with it, has worked with art history for many years. That's his work. And I don't think it's for beginners. Okay, I got some reflection there. There's something, but no, it doesn't show. Okay. Maybe a little bigger. Just lie your brush down. Make a little bit of leaves. Take it down there too. It's very dark. Hello, light. It's light there. Okay. The reason why I wanted to make this painting, why I chose that reference photo. I took that reference photo on a walk the other day. It was light when I went out, started walking, and then the sunset came. The sunset started, and when I came home after 1 hour, 1.5 hours, it was almost dark. So I took photos at the end of my walking. And I thought I got to try that. I don't know how many layers of paint I've painted there. You have to stop when you think it's enough, if you haven't done it already. Okie dokie. Can I show you this flat brush? You can use that also for the, what do you call this? The foot of the tree. It's easy to make a straight line, you see? You see? Sometimes you can use the corner of the brush to paint with that in some places. It's good to try different things. Not only use one brush, Rigger brush, it's good. You need it for small brown branches because it's more lively, more life in the branches, you know, here and there, not just thick and straight. And some flat brushes and some brushes that hold a lot of water. These are synthetic brushes. They don't hold that much water. There are some synthetic brushes that holds quite a lot of water, but not this one. You can ask if you send online, buy online. They used to tell how the brushes work. They used to be written somewhere. So check so you get the right brushes. You don't need to buy any very expensive brushes. I did that from the beginning, 1 or 2. Oh, they were very expensive, about $100 or something, more than $100, $120. That's too much, because there are mixed hairs from squirrel, maybe, for example, that can hold a lot of water. If you're gonna paint something like this, you know, a big flat wash, then you need a bigger brush and a brush that holds a lot of water. Otherwise I have to get new color all the time, and it maybe dries up for you too fast. Okay, back to the rigger brush. Okay, here are some smaller trees. Sometimes when I paint birch trees, I use the mask with masking fluid. This one, for you that hasn't seen it earlier, Pebeo drawing gum. I bought it at Amazon. I used a tree stick, for, you know, the thin one for flowers, to put it on. I think that is the best way, at least for me, to put the masking fluid on in the thin lines. I think I'm going to make some, no? Yes, I'm talking to myself here. I'm not only talking to my cats. If you have cats or dogs at home, you always talk to them, right? When one of my cats are hungry or wants some of the soft cat food, she sits there and just stares at me. She doesn't blink for a second. You know how it feels when someone is staring at you. So she forces me to to give her food. I can't wait that long when she starts. Okay, some branches without any leaves. There are always some of those too. Sorry. Try to hold the brush then you get more, you know, more of a kick in the brush stroke, you see? Now I paint in front of the back trees. And some of these here, let's see. You see, kick. Branches are like that. They are not straight and perfect. I want some more color. See, I can just, now these branches are wet. I can just drop in some color. It floats all the way. I can just help it a little bit on the way. I can tell you a little bit about myself. I have been working as a leisure time pedagogue and an extra resource in school. But I wanted to try something else. I've been working with that for many years. So now I am between jobs, as you say. Hopefully I will get a job so I can work with elderly people. Maybe this summer, when everyone is going for vacation, have their holidays, they need someone else to work there. That's my way to get connected to people within that work area. It's like when I started to work, you need to work instead of someone else that had a holiday. Who's had a holiday? I have a few years yet left before I retire. So it would be nice to do something else for a few years. It's always good to learn new things, meet new people. And then in the meanwhile, I have a lot more time to paint, a lot more time for my art. That's why I started this YouTube channel. I don't think I could have had time to do that earlier. A little bit dark on that tree. I have been painting watercolor for many years now, but more regularly when my one of my daughters moved out. This was her room, the biggest sleeping room, as we say here in Sweden, sovrum. So I bought a couple of tables, so I have a lot of space to paint. And when I have my friends home or family home for dinner, I take all this away from the table and we can eat here. So it's perfect. I can use it for two purposes. I miss something red. It's red up here, but That is something that I leave for till the end. I think I will I will take some more of the sap green and put on the dark area. A little bit more water on that one. I take it from the puddle. I don't have any more space here. I do this on rye paper now. Earlier it was wet paper when I painted the darks here. There are some underlying greens from the start. I painted 1, 2, 3 layers with Perylene green. So that I think that's why it's quite easy to get the greens to show again, even if it is that dark. I guess a few of you, if you haven't painted watercolor much, you don't know yet how many layers you sometimes you need to paint before you're finished with those layers. I didn't count the layers down here. I'm not going to fill the whole area here with green. It doesn't show everywhere on the photo, the reference photo. I would like to have the reference photo in the movie so that you can see it, or at least I can show you, but now I only have it on my phone. I'm making the video on that, so I can show you that. But that is the reference photo is the starting picture for video 1 of this painting, so you can go back and look at it. It doesn't show much once you start the video, but you can look at it before you start the video. With video 1. See, it doesn't need to be even with the color. Let it be thicker at some spots and thinner at some spots. It's more life to the painting. I hope you don't see my nose too much. I'm sorry about that if I do. Here is a hair. It's gone somewhere. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to paint a little bit burnt sienna, just a little bit. Where to put it? In the center somewhere. It is going to dry a lot thinner. And not that sharp, because red and green is the opposite of each other on the color wheel. So when you mix red and green, it becomes more brown. This is a little bit more orange, so it won't be very, very red. Just so that you can see some other movement in the picture. It gets more interesting. What do you say? I don't like that hair. So, if you wanted a flat and clean layer of paint, you cannot go in and with the brush. You have to wait until it dries, otherwise you get marks. A little more, maybe there. A little water. A little green. Not just a black, almost. Spot for the colors. A little bit more interest. Maybe some Perylene. Let's see if it shows here. Another way maybe. That's good. Experiment. Don't be afraid to throw on the colors, pigments. Just experiment. A watercolor, you can never decide exactly how it will end up looking at, like in the beginning. You can't. The watercolor works a lot by itself, especially when you paint with a lot of water inside. A lot of diluted mixes. You see, I tried to make a little diagonal stroke to it that leads the viewer's eye into the painting. So don't make it just straight horizontal line, make it diagonal. It's the same up in when you make clouds and stuff. You have to make it diagonal as the same as the ground to make interest. A little bit more. Maybe another brown color. I think this is Van Dyke brown. It is a little less reddish. And some really dark spots. I take almost pure Paynes gray. When you paint trees, you have to make them grounded. You can't just have a stick right down to the ground and then finish, nothing there. You have to show that it stands somewhere. You do that like this. this too. You see the difference when I make like this? When you paint snow scenes, winter scenes, you can use the shadows from a tree to ground the tree a bit. See? It makes it much more interesting. I think I will use Paynes grey up there too. But not too much, because that is far away. Just a little. It's just like, almost like showing where the grass is. And one thing I'm gonna tell you, don't stop, you see here, don't stop there, let it, this line go on the other side of that tree. Otherwise something is missing. I wet the brush and wet underneath so that one side of the line is getting softer and floating out. Same here. There are things behind the trees, so you have to show that. Some burnt sienna. Here maybe. Let it float out. Spread itself. Let the watercolor work for itself. Some more Perylene green. You create more depth in the painting, and you got more pigments in the front, closest to the viewer. Put it a little bit in that corner. I think I laid I want to lay down flat. I hope you see this one. I have to check. Okay. If anyone didn't hear, I was talking about a video editing program. If you have any ideas, write them down in the comments. I'm going to get some salt. I forgot to take some salt. I'm going to take a little salt here. I'll show you. When you're using salt or watercolor, you can't just pour it on just any time. You have to look at the surface when the most shining glow is gone. It's still wet, but it's almost dry, just moist. Then you put on some salt. Then you get some structure. And then you have to let it dry by itself. You can't blow dry it. Then you spoil it. You can make some really beautiful effects with the salt, especially when you use dark colors. The salt is sucking up the moisture, so there, if you got one small salt piece, there it's going to be a lighter spot. So you can create very nice effects. And it works better with some pigments and almost not work with some pigments, so you have to try it out. When it has gone completely dry after an hour or two, no blow dryer, must be really dry. Then you just brush off the salt, because then it has done its work and can't do anything more. So watercolor, you have to be fast many times when you paint, and sometimes you have to be patient and wait. Depends on what technique you use. I will let this sit now. I think I want to, I'm eating the salt. I think I want to make some of the leaves even darker, because now I have the light tone and I have the middle tone. I don't have the third darker tone. So I can do that while the salt is working. Have to remember what pigments to use. It was Perylene green and Paynes grey. See how it looks. Okay, little bit more green. I don't think you can see the difference. This is a little bit green. This is more gray-black. Okay. Okay, about me, a little bit more. When I worked as a leisure time pedagogue and a teacher at the after school time, I used to teach the kids to build stuff and paint stuff. That was my interest. And I have been teaching in the classroom to paint. So that has been my interest. I've done that for many years. You see, it gets a completely different picture when you get some real lights, the real dogs as well. Try to make it the one that where you see the leaves are in front, the branches. Try to make that a little darker because that is the ones that are closest. Still dry brush technique. There too. Doesn't need to be perfect, especially on these smaller trees. See, here you can see more that those paler trees are more far behind when these get darker. Blot the stomach. One pigment that is good to make things look like they are more further away, that's turquoise colors. I used some of that for the last painting I showed on videos on. Until I let it dry a bit, so I paint the other trees, and then I can go back again. See if it, maybe, one thing too, if you use a too thick mixture of pigments, not diluted enough, then it is difficult for the salt to take the water, make spots. So where the pigments are mixed with more water, the salt effect shows more. So let's see how it ends up. I think I'm gonna some small branches here too as well. I paint a little bit darker in the middle of the tree. It looks a bit lighter on the sides because of the sunlight from behind. Just a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. I stay there for now. Let's see how it looks when the salt has done its job. It has to dry by itself now. I hope you like it. Okay, bye bye for now. I show you this later on. Maybe I do something else a little bit. If it's nothing new, I can paint it on my own and then show you and tell you what I did. So let's see. It has to work, the salt, and dry by itself. Okay, bye bye for now.